get lost.
Come on and hear the music.
Oh my god, it was so cool. I thought it was so cool. It was so much fun. Like, well, my name is Robin Cook. I'm from Fairfax, Virginia. I was born in Bethesda, Maryland. I grew up in Virginia about until I was 19, and then I went to school for music in New York. And I've always been a creative person in the creative arts. My family line has a long line of soldiers and artists. So my mom's a painter, my aunt was a sculptor, my cousin Nathan Van Dyke is an artist out in California, and I don't know, there's a lot of them. Since I was about 6, I started acting in really small plays at my elementary school. And then I started playing the cello, I started dancing and stuff, and when I was about 9, I probably knew that I wanted to make it a career. Being such a creative person, I use all these things as outlets to kind of release these ideas that I have and stuff like that. I try to do a little bit each day, even if I don't do a huge project in one day or 1 week. Like every day I'm doing something little, like, oh, I finished the verse to that song, or I finished half of this piece of jewelry. I'm actually wearing some of my jewelry pieces. I made this rooster feather earring. I made the ring and the bracelet. I also make like body jewelry and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm just always having ideas, and I need like, I use each one to kind of support the other. So like, let's say if I wrote too much or I get tired of writing, or I'm in a writer's block, I can move to jewelry and start making jewelry and keep that inspiration coming, as well as, you know, dancing and stuff like that. When I was 13, I performed in Orlando for the National Amateur Football League halftime show, and that one was really fun because we got to wear these cool glittery outfits and have these like giant pom-poms, but it wasn't like cheerleading though. It was like actual like choreographed dance moves in front of like this big crowd, like at a halftime football game show. I was like, oh, this is awesome. There were like TV everywhere. That one was really fun. I performed at an event against domestic violence on Long Island in April. It was Suffolk County Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and that one was really fun because they had like a red carpet special. The theater was beautiful. It was like like red seats, you know what I mean? They have the balcony and like the old, like, I don't know, the paintings everywhere, and then the big chandelier. So it was very classy. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, it was really fun. Well, about a year or so ago, I started making my own jewelry. A lot of the pieces that I would buy from the stores and stuff, they would break, so I'd end up having to fix them. Once I learned how certain things were made, then I would go out and buy the supplies and just make it myself. Actually, how I really got into like body jewelry and stuff is I saw this one, like, I was on Etsy one day and I saw this girl had this like body jewelry piece, and I was like, oh, I really want it, but it was like $60, and I was like, I can't, you know. And it wasn't even that much chain, it was just like a little bit. So I went to the store and I bought my own chain and made my own, and then I was like, wow, I can really like do something with this. So I started making body jewelry, and then I moved on to necklaces and then little knickknacks like rings and earrings and stuff. And I don't know, it's fun. Sometimes I do it while I watch TV just to like, I don't know, do stuff, keep my hands moving. I was a little bit nervous. When I looked out into the crowd, there were a lot of people, because I think it was like everyone from my elementary school, and some other people came by. You know, people want to see their kids perform and stuff. I did the dance routine to N6 Bye Bye Bye, and my dance partner, I was in 4th grade, he was in kindergarten, and it was so cute. He was like this little boy, you know, trying to dance, and I saw they had a video camera in the back, and like, I don't know, it kind of like excited me that they had that, and I had more fun than nerves. I've had performances there though where I've been pretty nervous before, but for the dance routine, I just did everything. I made up everything myself, and then I kept the bye 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 part because I thought that was really cool. I do keep some as poetry, and sometimes I use my poems to breathe life into a song. You know, if I get a lyrical block, I'll go back to some old poems and I'll be like, oh, that's a really good line. I'm going to use that line and then build from that. I have a lot of poems just stashed away. You know, I have a big stack of notebooks of just all writings just from the past 2 years alone. And sometimes I go back through old diaries and stuff and I find some old writings. I don't even know how I got into poetry. Like when I was in 1st grade, when I was 6, I was always praised by my teachers that I was a really good writer, and I won a lot of writing awards from my school. And I think how I got into it is, you know, in school they always want to do creative stuff with you, so they teach you the poetry and stuff, and so I guess that's how I got into it. And when I was 12, I posted my poem onto an online blog, and somebody saw it, and they were like, oh, we want to put your poem into a compilation book. And I was 12, I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. I thought it was so cool. It was so much fun. Like when I saw my name in the book and my poem there, I was like, this is awesome. It was so much fun.
I felt alone and cold. I could feel fear bringing on my tears. Something deep inside could no longer hide. It was hope that kept me alive. So this is for those who don't believe. Look inside and see who you can be. And when you look at your reflection, make a connection. Don't let go.
Actually, I used to listen to Eminem when he first came out, and I loved him because he's really good, a really good lyric writer. Like if you listen to his lyrics and how he rhymes certain things or uses like certain alliteration and things to like hit your mind, you know. After I heard him for the first time, I sat down and I went to my notebook and I wrote about like 7 or so pages front and back, just like straight through poetry, like just like going and going. Like some lines were okay, some lines are really good, some are, you know, and sometimes I do that to warm up before I go write a song or something. It was so much fun. Actually, before that song, I'd never recorded a song before. I'd never been to the studio. I didn't even really know, like, you know, what anything looked like. I didn't even know what a studio looks like. I don't know. It was really nervous at first, just because I'd never recorded a song, and like I knew the producer Mike G. Guerriero had written a Billboard #1 dance hit, "Kiss the Sky" by Danielle Bollinger, and I was kind of nervous because I was just like, I don't know, I hope, you know, he's already done stuff, and I was just like very, very amateur, raw. But it was a lot of fun. Actually, when I first started lessons when I was 14, my teacher had me go into like singing some falsetto, which is the whoo, those higher notes. And at first I was kind of scared by it because I'd never done it. I always kept low. I was just singing a lot of Christina Aguilera and stuff. But after the years, it kind of became my signature thing, especially with the song "Kiss Me," because when I went in the studio, and like at the time I didn't really know, sometimes I was singing out of key and stuff, so he would play it on the keyboard for me, and when he hit the note on what the chorus should be, I was just like, oh no, I have to put it in that high voice now. And it actually ended up being really good for the song, and about a year later it was put into an independent film, so it was a really fun experience. Actually, before I recorded the song, I told my mom, I was like, hey mom, I'm gonna take a bus up to New York and record this song. And she was like, oh no, you're not, I'll drive you. I was like, okay, cool. At that point I already made the appointment, I already talked to the guy, we already had the song, I already paid for the session. So we did the drive all in one day. We left that morning, I recorded the song, and then we left right after, and we got home at like midnight or later.
So is your family involved in your career?
Oh yeah, they've always been very supportive. My dad's a Navy guy, so you know, sometimes he's like playing the devil's advocate, like that's not possible, you can't do that. And then my mom's like, oh, stop it, Bob. You know. But being like coming from a family of artists and stuff, like my dad's mom was a painter. My mom's side, you know, my grandmother from Estonia was a ballerina, and like we just had all this art in my family where like my parents were just kind of like, you know, do what you love. When my mom was younger, actually, her dad was in the Army, and he was a very like Army brute type guy. He was like, oh, you can't switch schools in college, you can't do that. He was really tough on her. Like, so when I came in and I ended up doing, like, she saw that I was writing at a very young age and doing these creative things, she was a little bit more loose with me, just because she didn't know where the art was coming from. She didn't know where the inspiration came from, so she never wanted to be that type of person to hold me back from that. So she's always been supportive, you know, just do it. A few months after I recorded the song, I put together a picture slideshow, like a little picture movie that I put on YouTube. And I guess about a year or so after I recorded the song, and it had already been on YouTube for about 6 months, this guy contacted me, and he said he really liked the song. He has his own film company in Georgia, and he's putting together this film called A Bitter Kiss, and that my song would fit well into the film because the kiss theme, you know, and I said sure. So he sent me the contract, I signed it, and then I sent him the song down, and about a few months later the trailer was out, and then it came out. So I don't know, I'm really excited about that. It was really cool. Well, the first one I worked with, he wrote that song, so that was really cool. I also worked with a producer, Jim Ebert, who's produced for Madonna and Toni Braxton and some other people. I recorded songs with him about a year after I recorded Kiss Me. I've been fortunate enough to work with some good producers out on Long Island, you know, from my school and also in the area. I've stuck with one in particular for the past 2 years. His name is EQ McFly. You can find him on Twitter at EQ McFly, as well as our Animal Theory movement at Animal Theory, but with a U. So I've also worked with some really good musicians. Like my school is a music school, performing arts school. There are some really good guitarists and singers and other instrumentalists there, and I've been fortunate enough to find and work with some really talented and really honest people. It's been fun. My jewelry can be found at daredeviljewels.com or on Etsy under my Daredevil Jewels shop. My music can be found on myspace.com/RobinCook. You can also follow me at thisisrobincook on Twitter. Right now I'm in the recording process of recording my new album, and in about a few months I should have some stuff up on iTunes and have a new website, probably thisisrobincook.com. And as well as the song Believe, it should be out soon, so check it out.